What Justice Kavanaugh has been up to already. Good morning, Griff.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, he's wasting no time getting to work, and he was officially seated, of course, on Saturday by Chief Justice Roberts. But tonight, the public will get to see us swearing in the East Room of the White House. But do you remember back in his confirmation hearings, Kavanaugh said that no federal judge has sent more women law clerks to clerk on the Supreme Court than him. Well, he continues that record with his 4 new clerks, all of whom are women. Here they are: Kim Jackson, Shannon Grammel, Megan Lacey, and Sarah Nominson. All come from appeals court judges, but Jackson is the only one who worked for him previously as an appeals judge. Now, women make up a majority of clerks on the Supreme Court, a first, guys, in history. And here's a peek at the Supreme Court cases he's got this week. They're going to involve firearms, immigration, and asbestos exposure. One case involves imposing lengthy prison sentences on firearms offenders who have 3 prior violent felony convictions. Another asks the court to consider which illegal immigrants can be detained during deportation hearings. A third involves Navy sailors seeking damages for asbestos exposure. Now, today, of course, is Columbus Day, so Justice Kavanaugh won't take the bench until tomorrow, but he's off to the races and already making history. Guys?
All right. Thank you very much, Griff. Not only making history, making headlines. I mean, there are, even though I was at a book signing down in Florida over the weekend, and when the vote happened, apparently somebody was watching, and the word traveled fast, and there was like a little roar about the outcome of it. You would think that it would be settled, but the politics are still very raw.
Oh, my gosh. I had to give a speech on Saturday at the Extraordinary Women's Conference, and while I was on stage, I brought my phone on stage, and I said, when you hear the Fox News alert, you know he's confirmed, because I was speaking during between 3:30 and 4. And the Fox News alert came up, and the whole crowd went wild, and I opened it up and said, oh, well, wait a minute. This just says that they're starting the voting. And then a lady in the audience, she got her Fox News alert before me, and she said, Ainsley, he was confirmed. He was confirmed, so I announced
Think about the weekend the President of the United States had. Jobs numbers on Friday that were pretty extraordinary, showing the economy is still roaring.
Yeah.
You've got Secretary of State overseas right now talking about North Korea Summit 2.0, trying to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, and then Justice Kavanaugh confirmed. So you now see the President, in a brief amount of time, reshaping the High Court, and Democrats are extremely upset about it, talking about trying to impeach Justice Kavanaugh already if they can take back the House. And Senator Hirono, who had, remember, she said to all men, sit down, move out of the way here as we're going through this confirmation, and listen to Dr. Ford. She had a lot more to say yesterday. Watch.
He's going to be on the Supreme Court with a huge taint and a big asterisk after his name. Everyone knows that when you just interview a small number of people and not the dozens of others who wanted to be interviewed by the FBI, that is a sham. And it raises more questions than it answers. So this whole impeachment thing, you know what, I'm very focused on the here and now, which is that all of these very angry women, mainly, out there.
Okay, so she's talking about women who are angry. The big question now is, will that anger translate into votes for Democrats in the midterm?
And is it women on the left or women on the right as well who are upset about how Justice Kavanaugh was actually treated? And Lindsey Graham's been saying a lot about that.
I think it's really ignited the base on both sides. And Senator Hirono, she said, when asked about the impeachment, because some Democrats are calling on to impeach Justice Kavanaugh, and she said, I have a laser focus now on the midterms. I want to get Democrats elected. Lindsey Graham said the goal for Democrats is to overturn the presidential election. Listen.
I hope everybody running for the House in these purple districts will be asked the question, do you support impeaching Judge Kavanaugh based on 5 allegations, none of which could be corroborated? Do you want an outcome so badly that you would basically turn the law upside down? Well, here's my point. The other side wants to cancel the election. So, Chuck, you want somebody new. Look at this list and see if there's anybody you agree to. But what you want to do, Senator Schumer, is to overturn the election, and you pick the judges. We're not going to let you pick the judges. If you want to pick judges, then you need to win the White House.
Lindsey Graham says he's going to campaign now in those purple states.
That's right. And he many times has said, look, when Barack Obama brought up Elena Kagan and Sotomayor, I voted for them. Not a big fan of them, but I voted for them because that's what you do.
They were qualified.
Absolutely. So in the fallout now, a number of Republican senators have been facing death threats. For instance, Cory Gardner's wife got some
text message
of somebody being beheaded. Apparently, and people are wondering, where do they get those phone numbers? Apparently, the start of every Congress, they get a little book that they give to members of Congress and their staffs, and they've got everybody's cell phone number. It looks like somebody who had access to one of those little books.
Somebody on the inside.
Started doing that.
And it even includes the wife's cell phone number in this book?
Probably because of the contacts to get a hold of the senator. Senator Susan Collins, who made an amazing speech on Friday where at the very end she said, I'm going to vote for Brett Kavanaugh. She says this has been tough on a lot of senators on the Republican side.
It's been very difficult. I've had the honor of serving in the Senate for nearly 22 years, and this is as ugly a situation as I've ever seen during that time. I have had to have security because of threats against me and family members and staffers, and this has been unlike anything I've ever been through.
I was reading through some of the tweets. My word, they're awful. I want to punch Senator Collins in the face. I hope someone kills you. You have sold out every woman in the country. If only you were capable of shame, maybe you would kill your horrible self. You don't deserve to call yourself a representative of anyone. Shame on you.
So you wonder who's behind those, and you wonder who are behind those protests. We discovered over the weekend, according to somebody from Vice News, one of the editors there, that apparently some of the protesters who were responsible for viral moments were actually paid. Listen to Shauna Thomas.
We also saw people who were organized. In that moment with Jeff Flake on the Hill, we talked to one woman who works for Ultraviolet who was paid. She helped steer people in the right ways to be able to confront senators.
So there were paid...
There were people who were paid by organizations like Ultraviolet to try to harness that energy in a way that would make the viral moments that we ended up seeing.
So Shauna clarified after that program on ABC that she didn't mean that people were being paid to protest. She said there were genuine people there protesting against Kavanaugh, but people were paid to steer them to that elevator, say, with Senator Flake, to steer them to the
viral
statue.
moments.
The viral moments.
Those.
They got every
like that one right there.
The elevator with Senator Flake that changed this debate briefly, but then obviously it's took it off course for a week. But then he was eventually confirmed Kavanaugh anyway. And you saw people climbing up on the statues of the Supreme Court,
banging on the door.
Yeah. And remember late in 2016 during the campaign, we heard all of these people on the left saying, if Donald Trump loses, he's simply not going to accept the results. He'll never move on. He'll be on Twitter.
Well, he said he might not.
Hillary Clinton would be able to move on. She hasn't moved on, and many on the left have not moved on.
Ben Shapiro had this to say about it. Listen.
We will see something like this again, every single time, if the institutional left is allowed to regain power. This will become our regular politics. The chief cultural institutions of our nation are in the hands of leftists, radicals, who don't care about individual rights, or at least not the individual rights of those who disagree. In their pursuit of utopia, every person is either a tool or an obstacle. Now that Justice Kavanaugh is joining the Supreme Court, don't get complacent. Don't think the fight is over. It's just beginning. And now we know the stakes. Remember that on November 6th.
And 13 hours from right now, he's going to be sworn in by the President of the United States. You'll see it live right here on the Fox News.
I saw that calendar over Ben's arm and his shoulder, and over the weekend there was a meme all over Twitter, a calendar, President Trump's calendar leaking, and every day it said winning, 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 winning.
And then at the end, sick of winning. All right, let's